I'm Dominic Bachman, wildlife biologist at Modoc National Wildlife Refuge. Welcome to Region 8 Roundup.
At Modoc National Wildlife Refuge, biologists surveyed a newly established gull colony on Dolores Reservoir. The recent drought has impacted habitat throughout the West, causing many colonial birds to move to new locations, including Modoc National Wildlife Refuge. Refuge staff reached the small nesting island on the reservoir via boat and used a point blue protocol to count active nest sites. Because gulls nest on the ground in close proximity to each other, it can be difficult to keep track of which nest has been counted, so refuge staff use a spray bottle to squirt water-soluble paint near a nest. This enables the surveyors to identify which nests have been counted. In this year's survey, a total of 1,731 nests were counted on the island, the highest number since the gull colony arrived on the refuge 5 years ago. The 2015 survey of the island also documented a double-crested cormorant nest, the first ever found on the refuge. A few weeks after the initial survey, biologists used a spotting scope to survey the nest sites and found that approximately 400 chicks had fledged. The refuge will continue to monitor this nesting site and document the effects of climate change and drought on the refuge and on Modoc Plateau. To Central California, where service staff from multiple offices and programs responded to the Refugio oil spill. Environmental contaminant specialists and other staff immediately launched into action and joined federal and state partners as an estimated 100,000 gallons of crude oil spilled into a coastal drainage. Service responders trained in hazardous waste operation and emergency response joined shoreline cleanup teams to gather oil samples and teamed up with wildlife operation crews to rescue and recover oiled wildlife. Rescue and recovery teams collected more than 240 birds and 160 mammals impacted by the oil spill. In addition to supporting wildlife rescue operations, service staff also provided immediate information to the Coast Guard, Plains All-American Pipeline, and other members of the Unified Command on how to minimize response impacts to wildlife and sensitive habitats. In the initial hours, days, and weeks following the spill, the service also collected time-critical data on potential impacts to marine mammals, birds, fish, species habitat, and recreation to be analyzed as evidence through the Natural Resource Damage Assessment. The service will continue to work with partners to develop and implement restoration projects in the areas impacted by the oil spill. To Humboldt Bay National Wildlife Refuge Complex, where the Discover Nature app is helping smartphone users connect with the great outdoors. The new app makes visiting a refuge a game as users take quizzes while exploring walking paths and wetland habitats. Custom designed for the refuge complex, the educational game uses imagery, word jumbles, and other devices to make learning fun. The app also uses GPS technology to engage with users and provides helpful hints and information as the user travels around the refuge, which can be especially important in remote areas without signage. The Discover Nature app even allows users to take photographs and post them for other visitors to see, allowing the refuge to build a community of birders, hikers, and nature lovers that can share field tips on recent wildlife sightings and other environmental information. When not taking a quiz, the app also provides an About section that describes the history of the complex, conservation efforts taking place there, and any specific safety information that a refuge visitor should be aware of. While this app cannot replace the interaction between service staff and the public, it can help get people outside enjoying the refuge as part of a large community sharing their conservation experience and observations. On Santa Cruz Island, staff from the Ventura Fish and Wildlife Office joined more than 60 kids, parents, and chaperones from 2 California tribes for a 3-day excursion. The 3-day camping, hiking, and kayaking trip was made possible through First Bloom, a national conservation education program. For many of the kids and their families, this was their first trip to Santa Cruz Island, and for some, it was their first time seeing the ocean. Once on the island, the group set up camp, explored nature trails, and learned about the native and endemic plants, insects, birds, and mammals on the Channel Islands. In addition to the daily nature hikes and phenology lessons, kids also learned how to kayak and spent their evenings playing traditional tribal games. Campers kept journal entries about their experiences and read Island of the Blue Dolphins, a novel capturing the tale of a Native American girl who lived on the Channel Islands in the 1800s. Trips like this allow service biologists to share their knowledge about the amazing plants and animals that inhabit the island, while also giving the tribal youth an opportunity to share their history, culture, and traditions. The service will continue to connect children to the natural world and help instill environmental stewardship in future generations. That's it for this edition's highlights on Region 8 Roundup. Until next time, I'm Cindy Sandoval.